Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
That's an Ernie's legacy, build a bridge, man.
An emotional vigil tonight, remembering a man who was shot dead while guarding the safety of San Diego's homeless. Ernie Buchanan was killed outside the Alpha Project shelter in the East Village. And our 10 News reporter Matt Boone joins us live from there now, where police have stepped up patrols while they search for the shooter. Matt.
Steve, police have set up a mobile command unit just around the corner here from the tent on 17th and Imperial. We've also seen a lot of patrol cars coming around tonight. But earlier this evening, you can see people came by placing candles, flowers, and balloons in that spot where Ernie Buchanan was killed.
Walk with me, Lord.
Outside the Alpha Project tent, a somber mood.
That's an Ernie's legacy, build a bridge, man. I mean that. He took his last breath helping folks.
Ernie Buchanan had worked there as a security guard when he was gunned down Saturday night.
And I am sorry. He is gone.
One of his co-workers was Krishana.
Always greeted me with a hug. There's not a day that went by that I didn't get that hug. I'm gonna miss that hug, man. I'm gonna miss that hug.
Buchanan's brother, Mark Forte, says the 44-year-old was a father of 6, had 3 grandchildren, and was also a football coach.
Him being gone is going to create a huge, unreplaceable void.
It's the second tragedy the family has suffered in months. Buchanan's 19-year-old son, Eric, was shot in the jaw during a drive-by outside a party in La Jolla last summer, though he survived.
When you shoot someone in your community, you have created a void for a whole family. You've changed it. Man, could be some generations.
The bridge shelter tents are paid for by the city but run by the Alpha Project. They have guards, but they're not armed.
You know, we help everybody, drug addicts, convicts, gang members, mentally ill. We help everybody, and this happened to us. So I feel violated.
Bob McElroy is the president of the Alpha Project and says this is the first deadly shooting in his 35 years with the organization. He says he now plans on asking the city to be able to provide armed security.
We've got to have something here that at least we've got a fighting chance.
As for the shooter, police say they have not yet made any arrests. They also haven't announced any possible motives. In the meantime, the Alpha Project says with the family's blessing and the city's, they plan on renaming this facility after Ernie. Reporting live tonight in the East Village, Matt Boone, 10 News.
That would be an honor. Matt, thank you. It is one of the most controversial laws set to kick in January 1st, 2 days now. But tonight there is a last-minute legal challenge to AB 5, which will force independent contractors to become employees. Our 10 News reporter Anthony Pura is live at Lindbergh Field. And Anthony, many Uber drivers you spoke with are rooting for the companies to win this lawsuit.
That's definitely the case out here. We're at the ride-sharing staging area here at Lindbergh Field, and many of the drivers tell me they're worried about losing flexibility in setting their own hours, which is one of the main reasons they started driving for Uber in the first place. Whenever Uber drivers aren't rushing out to pick up riders, the conversation among them has been about AB 5, the controversial new state law that reclassifies independent contractors as employees. It kicks in the new year.
I work less than 40 hours a week. I probably put 4 hours a day, 3 hours a day, and I make 100, 125, and then I just go home.
Mo Habib drives Uber as a second job, and he likes making his own hours. He is thrilled that Uber and Postmates are challenging the law in court. The companies call the new law unconstitutional.
A lot of people I know that don't like it. We do have a couple of people that are for it, especially because they're offering benefits like health insurance and stuff like that. But you know, a lot of people don't care about that. We already have it through our other daily jobs. But drivers like Rayan Shamasha are torn on which outcome they want. He says he might be willing to sacrifice flexibility if the benefits are good.
If the new law becomes with the new benefit, like all the benefit, yeah, I will do it.
State Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez authored AB 5. She says the lawsuit is a challenge to expanding employee rights.
They don't want the regulations to ensure that their drivers get the basic protections that they deserve. So while Uber's CEOs and executives are becoming billionaires. Their drivers are being forced, some of them, to sleep in their own cars because they're not making enough money.
Teamsters also denounced the lawsuit on Monday. In a statement, they said in part, greedy corporations are filing this lawsuit to increase their profits regardless of the impact it has on people's livelihoods.
Now, Uber and several other companies have also threatened a ballot initiative or creating a ballot initiative that would get them exempt from AB 5. So this is likely not the last we've heard about this issue. We're reporting live tonight. Anthony Pura, 10 News.
Anthony, thank you. Other California laws set to take effect in 2020. They range from gun ownership to health care. New this year, only Californians aged 21 and older will be able to buy a semi-automatic rifle. Diapers and feminine hygiene products will no longer be taxed. Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez, who you just saw, says 1 in every 3 families struggles with diaper needs. That new law will save families $10 a month.
The cost of diapering a child is one big unexpected cost when you have children, and so we hope, working class families and middle class families alike will benefit from this.
Gonzalez says that diapers fall under necessities like food and medicine that are tax-free. She says diapers should never have been taxed in the first place. We have new details tonight on that church shooting in Texas. A vigil was held this evening at West Freeway Church of Christ to honor the victims.
Grace will lead us home.
The gunman, Keith Kanunen, was homeless and had been to the church several times before. Sunday morning, he opened fire, killing 67-year-old Richard White and 64-year-old Tony Wallace. Wallace's grandson was inside the church at the time.
The gunman stood up and turned around to him. So probably like 3 feet away from my papa.
The gunman was shot dead by 2 armed parishioners. Police are still searching for a motive tonight. And the man accused of stabbing 5 people at a Hanukkah celebration now faces federal hate crime charges. Prosecutors say that Grafton Thomas went inside a rabbi's home Saturday with a machete and then just started swinging. He was later arrested. Thomas's family and attorneys say he has an extensive history of mental illness, but no known history of anti-Semitism.
My impression from speaking with him is that he needs serious psychiatric evaluation.
Investigators did discover anti-Semitic journals entries inside his home. He also showed an interest in the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. That's the ideology followed by the suspected killers in a deadly shootout earlier this month in New Jersey. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will visit Ukraine this week as the Senate weighs options for a trial in the impeachment proceedings against President Trump. Ukraine is Pompeo's first stop on a 5-nation tour of Europe and Central Asia. His spokesperson says his visit to Ukraine on Friday is meant to strengthen U.S. and Ukrainian relations. The president's impeachment charges stem from allegations that he asked Ukraine to investigate a Democratic presidential candidate, Joe Biden's son, in exchange for military aid. President Trump denies any wrongdoing. And the Pentagon has released new video of one of this weekend's airstrikes in Iraq. It says F-15 Strike Eagles carried out what's called precision defensive strikes on 5 different targets. The strikes are in response to recent attacks from an Iranian-backed Iraqi militia. One of those attacks happened at a military compound last week, killing a U.S. civilian contractor.
What we did was take a decisive response that makes clear what President Trump has said for months and months and months, which is that we will not stand for the Islamic Republic of Iran to take actions that put American men and women in jeopardy.
Iran has denied any involvement in those attacks. 2019 is closing out with winter weather alerts all across the country. That's a lot of wind. In Minnesota, heavy snowfall and icy roads led to hundreds of crashes and at least 2 fatalities. Similar conditions in the Dakotas has the mayor of Fargo calling this one of the worst storms the city has ever experienced. More than 20 inches of snow have fallen, making driving dangerous.
If you don't have to be out on the roads today, just stay inside and wait for this storm to finish.
No doubt. In New York, people visiting Times Square, they are seeing mild temperatures, making this one of the warmest New Year Eves on record. A wild chase throughout San Diego during rush hour led to a complete stop on the 5 near Nobel Drive. Officers say they had to break out the windows of a Mercedes to arrest the woman who was inside. They say the pursuit started around 3 on Del Cerro Boulevard when the woman didn't pull over for a traffic stop. Officers then learned the woman was wanted on a felony warrant. It's not clear what that warrant was for. Luckily, no one was hurt. And sleeping on the street to raise money for homeless children. That's what one San Diego millionaire is doing tonight. Our 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo is live in Mission Valley, where the group is staying this evening. And Laura, they want to experience what it's like to be without a home.
Yeah, Steve, and the woman behind all of this is a successful fitness trainer and nutrition coach here in San Diego, and she's hoping to experience what it's like to be homeless tonight while also raising over $100,000.
I was just thinking tucked up against the slope of this hill.
With sleeping bags, blankets, and several layers of clothing, this group hopes they'll be able to stay warm for the night.
We really wanted to get a visceral understanding of what these children are going through on a daily basis.
Leanne Price is doing a community service project. She and her teammates are raising money for Stand Up for Kids San Diego, an organization that helps homeless youth.
We have some 10-year-olds that are on the streets, and it goes up to 22, 23.
The plan is to sleep outdoors to get a taste of what the kids experience every night.
We're still not roughing it. We're still going to have blankets and sleeping bags, and we're going to be together, and we are, all had a meal tonight. And some of these children don't even get to have that.
The group initially planned to spend the night in downtown, but settled on Mission Valley.
It really scares us. I don't know how these children do it, but we thought maybe we would get at least a minor taste of what these children are going through.
The goal is $129,000 by the New Year's Eve ball drop, money that couldn't come at a better time for the organization.
It was really an answer to my prayers, because I knew that in 2020 we were going to be short a lot of money.
So far, that group has raised $78,000. If you would like to donate, you can do so by going to standupforkids.org and designating your donation to the San Diego chapter. In Mission Valley, Laura Acevedo, 10 News.